Hello and welcome to today's video interview with Bastion Minerals. I'm joined by the company's chairman, Gavin Rutherford. Welcome, Gavin.
Thanks, Ben.
Today we'll be providing an update on Bastion Minerals, including recent activities that reflect the renewed strategy introduced by the company 6 months ago. So to get us underway, Gavin, it's been 6 months since the company recommenced trading on the ASX. So tell us where you're at.
6 months in, we're at the end of the beginning. We relisted in May and published a strategy then, which we've used as our anchor document to work on whilst we've reconfigured the company and put it into much better shape as we move forward with the rest of our plans to be an explorer. The first thing we did was say to our shareholders that we wanted all of our shareholders to have the opportunity to participate in the reset of the company. And you recall we did a rights issue, which was underwritten and very well subscribed to by the shareholders, and that gave them a chance to defend or consolidate or bolster their positions as they saw fit. And more recently, we did a placement where we wanted to just top up the coffers a little bit, and we put $475,000 in, which we did independently of brokers. And once again, it was $465,000 that came from within the shareholders. So we had one lot of $10,000 that came from outside the company. So that gives you a good, or certainly gave me a good understanding and sense of contentment and assuredness that the shareholders are behind the way we're executing the plan. We closed the office, anything to do with offices in the eastern states, and we've relocated the address of the company to Perth. We don't have an office as such. We've been focused very heavily on reducing overheads, which we've got down now to it's in the $30,000s a month, which for a junior explorer is very cheap. The directors continued not to take any fees or accrue any fees. So the focus has been very much on, just containing costs and putting our money where our mouth is, so to speak, as far as the board's concerned. Speaking of the board has become a completely new board with the addition of Ray Muscat, exploration geologist, who joined us on the board as Ross Landell's departed as a director, and that happened in September. Bastion now has a geologist on its board. The last time it had a geologist on its board was when founding chairman Ralph Stagg was there up until October in 2021. So it's been a long time between drinks for Bastion to have geologists within its fold. And further to that, I'm very pleased to have announced the addition of Sharifa Munkala, who's a geologist and geoscientist, and I guess our first employee to come into the company. And that's also to deliver onto the May 20 strategy of looking back into all of our projects. So tidied the company up. We've raised money, we've put capital in the right place. We've healed wounds. We haven't put band-aids on wounds. Put the company into good shape, and I'm feeling good to look forward at projects now.
Fantastic. And from that project perspective, the ICE project in the Yukon territory of Canada has been a major focus over the past 6 months. You've had an exploration permit granted, you've delivered a JORC mineral resource, exploration activities are underway, and you also recently visited the Yukon as well. So how much interest has that project attracted so far, and what are your next steps there in terms of exploration?
Focusing on Yukon, which is a massive area and highly prospective. The population of Yukon's only, it's less than 50,000 people. The capital city, Whitehorse, is 26,000, which means that you can get very close to the people. And a new government was sworn into Yukon on this Saturday just gone, which is a very pro-exploration, pro-development, pro-mining government. So I had an opportunity to talk to the new incoming Premier at the Yukon Geoscience Convention last week. My main interest was to be able to sit down with the traditional owners, the Tooledini people of the Ross River Dina Council, and they are one of two traditional owner groups that have interests over the land where the ICE project is. In fact, they overlap a little bit. And the conversation was very, very good. We've got an exploration agreement that's being executed this week. Having said that, the Ross River Dina Council welcomed us onto their land for exploration activities in the last couple of months. There was an ASX release referring to that. So what that means is that we're in a good place with regard to accessing the land, and I'm glad to have gone there and actually pressed the flesh with the traditional owners, but also with the new government. There's a new mining minister that would have been sworn in by now since I left, and we're looking at a convergence, I suppose, of greater needs for copper, gold, and other metals in a fantastic province where the traditional owners are certainly working with us on making sure this works okay, and a new government that's supporting it. So I came back very heartened.
Great. That sounds like strong progress on a number of fronts at the ICE project.
Yeah.
So elsewhere, let's have a look at the rest of Bastion's diverse portfolio, which includes the Cometa copper project in Chile, the Gyttorp project in Sweden, and various projects in Western Australia too. How far has the strategic review of these assets progressed, and when can investors expect an update on those?
Yep. So Sharif, as I mentioned earlier, our geologist and Ray are working to look back into the projects now. And Gyttorp in Sweden has actually piqued our interest very, very strongly. There's a whole lot of work that it appears was not necessarily overlooked, but it's certainly some different interpretations and observations have given us cause to have a much closer look at Gyttorp, and we just need to test out these suspicions that we've got. So that's, as far as I'm concerned, this is paying dividends already, getting these people involved. With Cometa, we stated, as with all the projects back in May with the ASX release, that we'd be looking for competent partners and well-resourced partners to look at all of these projects on earning into them. And we're in dialogue at the moment with people that are looking at Cometa and the other projects as well. And our overarching priority is to get the absolute best return for shareholders that we can within a timely manner. So I expect with the ICE and the Gyttorp and the Cometa projects that we should be able to keep our shareholders informed on progress there, and it is progress over the next couple of months.
Sure. Okay. And the renewed strategy wasn't only about reviewing your existing assets, of course. It was also about pursuing early stage Australian gold opportunities. And Bastion has already made progress in that regard with one acquisition being the Ninnis Gold project. When does the company expect to provide an update on initial work at Ninnis?
We're working on exploration plans for Ninnis right now. I had a meeting yesterday. We're pushing forward with that. I'm meeting with a driller tomorrow. So the market needs to see on ground activities. I think our honeymoon is over as far as the 6 months it's taken to fix the company and get it ready to explore. Now it's time to explore. So the Ninnis project we're very excited about. It's very well known to us. It's one that we've been looking at for a while. And if you look at the ASX release we put out, you'll notice that the Magnetic Resources Lady Julie project is to the southeast, not very far at all. And the Mount Morgans Mining Centre, which I call it now, there are so many pits around there, it's not funny, is to the south. It's just in a fabulous address and it's been underexplored. So the logical thing now is for the shareholders and the market at large to receive our published exploration plans for that project, which our timetables over the next few weeks.
Okay, and beyond Ninnis, is the acquisition hunt continuing? And if so, are you still looking at early stage Australian gold projects, or has the focus shifted elsewhere?
The focus has not shifted elsewhere. So yeah, we're looking for early stage projects, and yes, gold. And the mantra is to explore without a passport. So just to add balance to this answer, Don't forget that we need to find competent explorers to prosecute the overseas jurisdictions for us, whilst we turn our spotlight onto gold, preferably in Western Australia, possibly in the rest of Australia. And gold, as far as we're concerned, is a go-to commodity that always provides a level of assuredness. And as a microcap junior, I want to have a couple of gold projects discrete to each other, that we can push forward with and start showing some early results to our shareholders.
Great. Okay. So now if you do look back at the entire process to date over the past 6 months, what have you learnt about the company's entire portfolio, the type of projects you'd like to be part of in the future?
The company's portfolio is a disparate one. Looking at the overseas ones are in three separate countries. You've got Sweden, which is a great jurisdiction for mining. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm learning as fast as I can. Which is rare earths, copper, and possibly gold. We've got Canada, which has got the magnificent ice project in Yukon, but it's also got two excellent gold prospective projects just to the east in Northwest Territories, which are the Harley and Mariner projects, and we shouldn't forget that they're there because we're starting to do some work on those. And then in Chile, we've got a copper project there. They're all good projects. Should they be in the hands of one microcap junior domiciled in Perth? My gut answer is no. But we will continue to service those projects as effectively as we can until we find the right partners to take them on. And the reason I want the right partner to take them on is because I can deliver results to shareholders a lot sooner with each of those projects, and we can turn our attention to what we know, which is the projects we've got in Western Australia and the projects we're looking at bringing
in. Yeah. Okay. And in saying that, what would you say is your sweet spot in terms of jurisdiction and commodity?
For a microcap explorer, gold followed by copper. Other targets of opportunity, let's see what happens. Never say never about anything, but certainly within Australia would be our preference. It would take a massive level of promise and interest to draw us outside of Australia for any new projects.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good. And you spoke about the board and the refreshed board earlier in this interview. How has that new board composition benefited the company during this process, and how do you expect it to benefit the company in the future?
It's great chemistry and great skill sets. I'm not a geologist, so my bag is most definitely the corporate side of it. Shareholder relations, being able to structure things right, capital raisings, meeting with traditional owners, etc. And basically the people end of it. We've got Ray Muscat now, who's an exploration geologist on the board, and as I said earlier, it's been a few years since there's been a geologist on the board of Bastion, let alone anywhere within Bastion. With due deference to Mr. Murray Brooker, who was a contract geologist that serviced Bastion, but it's just not the same, if you know what I mean. And then we've got Keith Ross, non-executive director, mining engineer. So we've got the engineering thinking, we've got the geological thinking, we've got the corporate thinking, and that comes together into a pretty good alchemy.
Okay, so 6 months on from announcing this renewed strategy, do you feel like you've ticked all the boxes that you'd aimed to by this point?
Yeah, look, we have on each of the bullet points we published in that strategy. I could say that we've got ticks of varying size and colour. There's certainly no crosses. There's a few things we still need to pursue, and what we will be doing is refreshing our strategy and publishing that refreshed version for our shareholders, because I believe it's very important to be able to refer anyone back to your stated intentions, and we have done that consistently since that ASX published announcement on the 20th of May, and we'll continue to follow with the mantra of referring people to our manifesto, if you like.
Okay, so now finally, in 6 months' time, when hopefully we're speaking like this once again, what do you hope to have achieved by then?
But in 6 months' time, I'd like to be talking to you about our gold projects, the plural, in Western Australia, and what activities we've been carrying out exploration-wise on site. So that would have been some geochemistry for sure, and also which by way of auger drilling, etc. So we like the idea of putting in a lot of auger holes down far enough some competent samples of what's actually in the ground and is non-transported. And with the overseas projects, I'd like to be talking about our fabulous new partners that have started to work their way through the overseas projects to turn them into a reality.
Okay, well, thank you, Gav. Well done on the progress so far, and I look forward to chatting to you again soon.
Thanks, Ben. I'm looking forward to the update and continuing to deliver on what we say we're going to do.
Great. Thanks, Gav.
Thanks, mate.